Chapter 16, Barbarism Must Be Met with Barbarism. You have guts to talk about compensation with me? Are you nuts? Although he was surprised to see the battle prowess of Tang Xiu, Black 3 was not afraid of him. However, the look on his face was serious and fierce. The smile on his face showed that he found the whole situation fascinating. Even though Tang Xiu showed some brilliant skills in the battle, in the eyes of an ordinary person like Black 3, Tang Xiu was just a youth with some extraordinary brute force. I crushed your restaurant, but in return, you beat up my people. Do you believe the restaurant is worth more than my men? Black 3 shouted out loud while closing towards Tang Xiu step by step. Black, he is still just a young boy. We apologize to you, please forgive us. Seeing the ferocious look on Black 3's eyes, Su Lingyun stood up covering Tang Xiu behind her, just like how a hen protects its small chicks. Too young. Do you want to fudge by using just this word? You think we are all idiots? Black 3 almost touched Su Lingyun and wanted to push her aside. Before his hand could close in on Su Lingyun's body, Tang Xiu gently embraced her mother in his arms and softly said, "Mom, it's all right, let me handle this, you just move aside a little." While Tang Xiu was speaking, he held his mother's hand. His thumb gently pressed Shinmen point on her hand. Pressing on the Shinmen point would usually help a person fall asleep. Su Lingyun had been worried and exhausted for over a month because of the harassment of Black 3. Due to the huge pressure of this whole issue, she has gone through countless sleepless nights. The kneading of Tang Xiu instantly made her fall asleep. Falling asleep, her wrinkled eyebrows gradually relaxed, a serene and sweet smile appeared on her face. You witnessed the way Tang Xiu had somehow hypnotized Su Lingyun. Black 3 eyes went wide, his mouth was also slightly open, rendering him speechless. Tang Xiu's leisure hypnotic trick on Su Lingyun really shocked Black 3, even more than when Tang Xiu crushed his 6 men. Su Lingyun was under a lot of stress and tension today. In such a state, no matter how tired she was, she would never be able to sleep so calmly, not to mention the loud crying noises the bullies were making. But Tang Xiu didn't even take a minute to make Su Lingyun fall into a deep sleep. The kind of ability was really fantastic. The smile on Black 3's face was gone. My mom is sleeping, let's get back to the compensation, how do you want to sort this out? Tang Xiu asked, ignoring his reaction. Shorting it out? Black 3 was afraid of Tang Xiu, a simple touch of his can make him fall asleep. He felt there was no longer any way to get out of this situation safely without giving a compensation. In his mind he already decided to compromise. You decide it, if you don't show enough sincerity, I don't mind giving you another reminder. Tang Xiu snapped his fingers with a cold look on his face. You. The domineering attitude of Tang Xiu again made Black 3 angry. Staring at Tang Xiu for a long while, Black 3 was so angry that he started laughing. He pointed at the nose of Tang Xiu and said, "Kid, you really got balls. Don't be fearless just because you know some kung fu moves. Do not think you can be afraid of nothing because of some kung fu moves. I have been in the underworld long before you were even born. I originally intended to forgive you, and perhaps we could even have been friends, but since you are so ungrateful, then do not blame me for being ruthless." While saying this, a butterfly knife appeared on his hands and killing intent flashed on his eyes. The dazzling butterfly knife was dancing in the hands of Black 3. The whistling sound of the wind gave off a sense of oppression while giving a ridicule and disdain look towards Tang Xiu. A butterfly knife was not considered as a lethal weapon. Martial artists usually preferred daggers, bayonets, rejection stick, even knives and machetes more than a butterfly knife. But Black 3 extremely loved butterfly knife, spinning the knife was cool as F*******. He has been practicing butterfly knives for more than 20 years. He even has a huge collection of butterfly knives for himself. In the eyes of other people, a butterfly knife was usually just practiced for tricks. These 20 years of practicing, On the hands of Black 3, the simple-looking knife has become a lethal weapon. Under the aggressive oppression of Black 3, Tang Xiu dodged back little by little. The kitchen was quite narrow. Stepping just 6 steps back, Tang Xiu was already against the wall, leaving him no space for retreating. Boy, I think you are quite normal unlike what the rumors outside says, but I believe you are a very assertive person. Why not convince your mother to live with me, and I will protect your mother and you from now on, how is it? Tang Xiu was in a tight spot, Black 3 on the other hand got more ferocious. Saying such words, now no one can save you. Tang Xiu sighed, and then slightly moved his feet. The green-haired bully who was the first to be knocked down onto the ground actually flew up, directly heading towards Black 3. Unconsciously Black 3 drew the butterfly knife in his hand, but realizing what was actually thrown at him, he tried to recover his own attack, if not his own guy would be injured severely. Instead he tried to actually catch the guy with his arms. Thinking that stopping the body would be simple, Black 3 was relaxed. However, in the next moment, when he made contact with the body, his face went pale. Who would have thought that the green-haired bully was thrown with such speed and force? Underestimating the impact had actually dealt a fatal blow to him. The impact was as if a rapidly running train had mercilessly crashed at him and directly knocked him into the air. The sound of bones breaking was clearly heard. That wasn't all. Green-haired guy's body did not halt after hitting Black 3, instead they both flew back quite a distance. After a long while, with a thud sound, crashed into a wall and powerlessly fell to the ground. Just one hit, and both of them directly fainted. Wake up. If you pretend that you cannot stand up, then you will never get to stand up again. Tang Xiu snapped. After Tang Xiu kicking Black 3, he glanced at the other 5 bullies who were awestruck and stunned on the floor. The moment Tang Xiu spoke, they all jumped up all at once. However, instead of listening to Tang Xiu's order of waking up Black 3 and green-haired guy, the 5 bullies rushed towards the direction of the kitchen door, trying to escape from this hell. Trying to escape? You think you can escape so easily? After shouting, Tang Xiu moved his hand very quickly. 5 chopsticks directly pierced into the thighs of the 5 bullies, paralyzing and making them fall on the ground. Dominating the immortal world for thousands of years, even after returning back to Earth, Tang Xiu still naturally had an arrogant aura about him. Even though he did self-cultivation in school for a month, the arrogance and domineering personality he had in his bones was not even slightly reduced. When he faced the bullies, he felt as if he has returned back to the immortal world. If you continue to act, the chopsticks in my hands will penetrate your brain next time, not your thighs. Do you want me to try? Tang Xiu spoke indifferently, ignoring the pitiful situation of the 5 bullies. Hearing the words spoken by Tang Xiu, the screams immediately stopped. There was fear and panic in the eyes of the 5 bullies. These people usually frighten the old and the weak, they have never actually seen bloody stuff. They dared to come and harass the restaurant, because they knew the background of it, that only a weak woman and a student with something wrong with his brain were the only ones there. The 5 people never imagined that a stick would be this hard to break. Under the stare of Tang Xiu, the 5 bullies crawled back to Black 3 and the green-haired guy. Enduring the pain they were suffering, they sprinkled some water on their face, which immediately woke them up. Go. Beat that little bastard. If he were to die, I will take responsibility. As soon as Black 3's eyes opened, he began to shout. Pia. The moment the words came out of his mouth, he heard a brisk sound, and then he felt extremely painful. Feeling that some kind of salty liquid was coming out of his mouth, along with some solid fragments, Black 3 touched his lips. His fingers turned red, the solid fragments were pieces of his teeth. He no longer knew what he was feeling, was it helplessness, anger, hatred or just embarrassment? Was I beaten? I was beaten by him without even getting to fight back? Chapter 17, Demon. Black 3, are you sure you want to be responsible for his life? Tang Xiu said indifferently and watched him coldly. Tang Xiu, you should consider clearly. What you do is operate a business, we are just a bunch of idle bullies, so unless you kill us, you will not be making a living in Star City. Black 3 said in a low voice. From Tang Xiu's words and manner, Black 3 already judged that Tang Xiu was the type of man who was ruthless and was the kind of man who could not be offended. However, Black 3 would absolutely not apologize to him, so he started to play rogue. Black 3 used to play rogue as his trump card. This trick was extremely useful against ordinary people, but it was obviously a failure against Tang Xiu. Before Black 3 finished his words, a few chopsticks shot out from Tang's hand, landing directly into Black 3's thigh. Black 3 jerked up in the air, showing the huge amount of pain he was in. In the next moment, Black 3 made loud noises of agony as his body became paralyzed and fell to the ground. Black 3, don't say that I did not give you a chance. You can call for help now, and you will see that I have control over everyone. I would like to see how you try to prevent us from making a living. After living in the immortal world for more than 1,000 years, Tang Xiu would typically destroy his enemies with the full potential of a thunderbolt. He would never let his enemies have any chance for a comeback. The people Black 3 had led who harassed the restaurant didn't do so for only several days, but did it for about 6 months straight, and this month it intensified, even making the restaurant impossible to operate, which had touched a nerve in Tang Xiu. Since Tang Xiu had turned against Black 3, it would be problematic if he let Black 3 leave. So he had to solve the problem right now. Black 3 was completely shocked when he heard what Tang Xiu had to say. Black 3 wasn't thinking about how his approach did not intimidate Tang Xiu, but rather how it brought shame onto himself. I will only give you 10 minutes, if no one arrives after 10 minutes, then I will kill you. Tang Xiu said, glancing over to Black 3. He made sure to pace his words to increase impact. Although Black 3 could call many people to help, distant water couldn't quench present thirst. Tang Xiu only needed to control him, it was useless to call other people to help. Tang Xiu, we are neighbors, we will meet each other every day, so no need to say it in absolute terms. Black 3 was not able to finish speaking. Tang Xiu rose his hand and fiercely punched him in the face. Translation says slapped, but men don't slap each other. It also makes more sense in the next few lines. So now you regard us as neighbors? Do you know what you did last month? Looking at Black 3, who was astonished, Tang Xiu questioned him indifferently. Tang Xiu, do not forget your business is to operate a restaurant, no good will come from insulting us. Black 3 said fiercely as he spat out saliva mixed with broken teeth and foul blood. How would a slap break teeth? Hence the punching instead of slapping. Is that so? Then I want to see what's the result of my transgression. Tang Xiu laughed without anger, and then punched Black 3 in his face a few more times. Poor Black 3 had dominated the Old River Street area for more than 20 years. Before today, he had never received any troubles. However, today completely stunned him. For the first time he was being punched in the face multiple times. Previously, Black 3 couldn't feel any murderous intent from Tang Xiu, which made Black 3 think that Tang Xiu was merely a harmless sunny boy. But after he was beaten by Tang Xiu, Black 3 carefully looked at Tang Xiu again. His impression of Tang Xiu had changed drastically. But now Tang Xiu gave off a slight scent of murderous intent. However, Tang's eyes were indifferent, which was a kind of indifference to life. This kind of attitude was far more terrible than a murderous look. There is something wrong with Black 3, are you guys normal? Just hurry up to call for help, it won't be long until time is up. Tang Xiu watched others, and urged them impatiently. There were a few other people who saw Black 3 beaten to a pulp, they were nervous. When they found that Tang Xiu suddenly turned his eyes on them, they were shivering. They hurriedly turned their faces one by one, pretending not to hear what Tang Xiu said. While praying, Tang's eyes did not fall on any of them. It seems everyone's mind has a problem. Because of that, I will not show mercy. Tang Xiu sneered at everyone he saw in the kitchen. Tang then proceeded to shove Black 3 onto the ground. There was only a muffled sound as Black 3 fell into the trash. The trash bin in the restaurant was full of oil and water. Black 3 and others thought that the trash bin was dirty, so they deliberately avoided the trash bin when they went to the restaurant to ransack it. So the trash can was full of various oil and leftovers, emitting a burst of foul odor. When Black 3 got smashed into the trash can, he screamed a burst of oppressive pain. At the same time, he danced and spilled water everywhere in the room. Because his hands were broken, Black 3's attempt to escape the trash bin failed even though he tried with all his might. The more he struggled, the more oxygen he consumed. He came close to suffocating. His body's movement slowed down as the oxygen depleted, and soon his voice disappeared. Black 3's body twitched from time to time and there were bubbles constantly popping from the liquid's surface. The other people stared at Tang Xiu. He was standing beside the trash bin looking indifferently. The 6 other bullies had no way of pretending that they didn't hear Tang. Before today, the 6 bullies had been blindly worshipping Black 3. They thought that Black 3 was invincible, and in their hearts he was unbeatable. But when they saw Black 3 being beaten up by Tang Xiu again and again, not even having the chance to fight back, the demonic image of Tang Xiu deeply imprinted into their minds. 6 minutes has passed, you still haven't called for backup. It seems like you do not want to go back. As the bullies looked at the trash bin abstractedly, the sound of hell breaking loose suddenly screamed into their ears, instantly waking them up. 2 of the bullies were timid. They fell on the ground when they heard Tang Xiu's voice. The others were also shaking. The eyes looking to Tang were full of fear and horror. Everyone should pay for their own mistakes. Since you do not need help, then you all can stay in the trash bin with Black 3. When Black 3 no longer made any noise and had no sign of fighting back, Tang Xiu wrinkled his brow. He then grabbed the feet of Black 3 and dragged him out of the trash bin. Tang ignored the other bullies' pleas and proceeded to kick the green-haired bully into the trash bin. The green-haired bully's hands were not broken. He struggled to climb out from the trash bin when he was pushed into it. Greenhair had no time to breathe. He heard a sharp piercing sound and then felt a sharp pain in his hands. His hands ceased to function as they were pierced. The green-haired bully watched Tang Xiu in fear, realizing that Tang was staring back. At the critical moment, Tang Xiu pierced the green-haired bully's arm with 2 chopsticks. Not waiting to hear the green-haired bully's screams of pain, Tang Xiu kicked him back into the trash bin. This time, he did not attempt to get out since he did not have the strength to get out. Watching the green-haired bully twitching in the trash can and Black 3 who was lying on the ground motionless, the other 5 bullies lost all hope. They never imagined that Black 3 and the green hair would have been beaten up this badly today. Thinking that the fate of Black 3 and the green hair would be theirs soon, the other 5 bullies collapsed in prostration. After they exchanged glances, they did not hesitate to kneel in front of the Tang Xiu. Tang Xiu, you cannot blame all of us. Someone else gave us money to only attack your restaurant. Brother Tang, we were here by the order of others. You have scolded and beaten us, please forgive us. We are just the bottom of the society, and sometimes we are forced to do these actions. Brother Tang, although we did ransack your restaurant, we swear to the God, we never hit your mother, we haven't even touched her. Only Black 3 and green hair are extremely cruel and merciless, the others just for backup. When the first person asked for mercy, the few other people spilled out their beans and spoke out their difficulties. The bullies looked much older than him, but called him brother. This felt slightly weird for Tang. However, of the 1,000 years inside the immortal world, Tang Xiu had come across more ridiculous things, so it didn't really shock him when they mentioned it. Everyone has their own way of survival. The people who are the high rollers of society have their own way, and so do the people who are living as the scum of society. Several people were crying and begging. However, they did not forget to secretly look at Tang Xiu and observe his reactions. When these bullies realized it was useless for them to flatter and respect Tang Xiu, the status of Tang Xiu in their hearts increased, whilst becoming very mysterious. Because according to their survey, Tang Xiu was just an ordinary high school student in Star City coming from a remote rural town. He even had a car accident. But from what happened today, the information provided was vastly different than reality. After a long silence, the bullies continued to watch Tang Xiu in fear. Tang Xiu snapped, "Who bribed you to ransack our restaurant?" Chapter 18, The Hidden Mastermind. Tang Xiu originally wanted to end the bullies' lives. Just looking at the mother in his arms, Tang hesitated. It was not difficult to murder someone, but the aftermath was a big problem. If his mother was not here, Tang Xiu wouldn't hesitate to kill, as he did not have to worry about any repercussions. With these fetters in his mind, Tang Xiu wouldn't dare kill people recklessly like in the immortal world. What the bullies said had evoked Tang's sympathy. Although these poor people must have been hateful, they only smashed things in the restaurant, they did not beat his mother. They did not deserve to die, regardless it seemed that there was someone pulling the strings. Tang, it was a middle-aged man wearing sunglasses, he paid us money to harass you, but only Black 3 talked with him. We do not know the true identity of the sunglasses man, said one on the bullies. This topic in particular successfully attracted Tang Xiu's attention. I do not know the identity of sunglasses, but I happened to heard a conversation between Sunglasses Man and Black 3. Sunglasses Man seemed to hate Brother Tang a lot. The purpose of harassing the restaurant was to infuriate you and then to kill you. He even offered a price. Another bully did not hesitate as he was speaking, but his voice became softer and softer as he was speaking. Ding Zi, Ban Shou, if you want to die in right now, just say it. I promise I will make it quick. Black 3's voice unexpectedly came up in the house. Black 3 did not know when the best time to wake up was. He stared at the two bullies with threatening eyes. That was why Ban Shou did not continue to speak. Realizing that Black 3 would still be trying to cause troubles at this time caused Tang Xiu to feel nauseous. In the next moment, the green-haired bully was dragged out from the trash bin and Black 3 was thrown back into the trash bin by Tang Xiu. Right now, the green-haired bully was unconscious, lying on the ground foaming out the mouth and the nose. Ban Shou, continue. Tang Xiu wiped his hands with a piece of cloth. Ban Shou glanced at Black 3 who was flailing about in the trash bin, then looked at the green hair who was bubbling in his mouth. He swallowed hard and stammered gradually. Tang Xiu, that sunglasses man said, if we cut off your hands, he will add 100,000 yuan. If we cut off your legs, he would add 200,000 yuan. This is what Black 3 promised. Ban Shou said with difficulty. After hearing what Ban Shou had to say, Tang could not help to frown. He really could not figure out who hated him so much, to the point where he wanted to cut off Tang's hands and feet. Staring at Ban Shou for a moment, Tang confirmed that he did not lie. Tang Xiu then kicked down the trash bin, so that Black 3 had the opportunity to breathe fresh air once again. Who ordered you to attack me? Tang Xiu snapped at Black 3 whilst kicking him harshly. Black 3 seemed to be in a semi-conscious state, his eyes stirred, but he did not answer Tang Xiu. Tang Xiu was not anxious. He glanced at the kitchen and saw a steaming stove-pot. He went to pick up the pot with a wide grin. Soon boiling water poured down on Black 3. As the boiling water was poured on him, Black 3 fiercely twitched up with resounding screams of pain. Who told you to attack me? Finding Black 3 finally became fully conscious, Tang Xiu continued to ask. Black 3 hatefully looked at Tang Xiu. He would have liked to say a few words out of spite, but thought of the result from his previous experience. He had to swallow what he wanted to say. Black 3 had made a living in the underworld for more than 20 years and he had worked with all kinds of people, but he had never met a person as cold-blooded as Tang Xiu. Black 3 knew that if he was ignorant about the current state of affairs, Tang Xiu would murder him. Black 3 felt extremely depressed because a high school student was forcing him to admit his mistakes. Still keeping quiet? Then you never speak again. A pot of boiling water was poured to Black 3 while he wasn't thinking. I'll talk. I'll talk. Watching the cold and uncaring eyes of Tang Xiu, Black 3 was thoroughly awake. He was crying for forgiveness while he was writhing in pain. We need to say that human potential is infinite. Even if Black 3 was seriously injured, he dodged the boiling water to avoid the fate of being scalded at a critical moment, but some boiling water still splashed on him, injuring him slightly. The sunglasses man is Su Cohen, the sales manager of the Shangguan real estate company. It seems that you have offended his boss, and brought shame onto him, so the person who wants to deal with you is Su Cohen's boss. Black 3 was afraid that Tang would continue to torture him if he spoke slowly. Therefore, he told all the information he knew to Tang Xiu. Shangguan real estate company? Tang had doubts in his mind. When his guess was confirmed, he could not help being angry. Outrage burst from his mind. Because of a variety of high-profile and show-off behaviors of his uncle's family, Tang Xiu naturally knew who was the boss of the Shangguan real estate. It really didn't occur to Tang Xiu that he had let his uncle's whole family go due to the blood relation with them, while they would coerce he and his mother until death in turn. Su Shangguan, you will pay for your ruthlessness, Tang Xiu said as he looked in the direction of the Shangguan real estate building. Tang Xiu started to have murderous intent raise up from within his heart. It was the first time he had this intention. Tang Xiu was so agitated he actually forgot about Black 3. The bullies were afraid of Tang Xiu and did not dare make a move while Tang Xiu was lost in a state of mind. After all, they got beaten by Tang Xiu more than once. Tang. Brother Tang, these are the worthy things that all we have. If not enough, we will try our best to get you more. As Tang Xiu pondered on how to deal with his uncle whilst also not making his mother sad, a weak voice was sounded in his ears. Hearing the voice of Ban Xiu, Tang Xiu just noted that there were several people still waiting on what he was going to say next. Ban Xiu was holding a stack of cash, jewelry, and a bank card as well. The cash was worth about 50 to 60,000. The value of the jewelry was ignored by Tang Xiu, however. Instead, the gold bank card caught Tang's attention. You think this is enough compensation? Tang Xiu did not reach out for the money Ban Xiu was holding, but instead sneered at him. What Tang said suddenly made Black feel gloomy. At that moment, Black 3 felt regretful for what he had done. He looked at the restaurant he had smashed up. Black 3 knew that the money he brought out wasn't enough. In 3 days, I would like to see a brand new restaurant, or there will be consequences. Tang Xiu coldly glanced at the bullies and then walked out of the kitchen with his mother. They finally left the restaurant. The kitchen was too dirty and smelly. After staying in the kitchen for a long time, Tang Xiu had reached the limit of bearing the smell, as he had a slight cleanness. He really did not want to entangle with them, so he decisively left. After a long time after Tang left, Black 3 and other people recovered. Did the demon leave? He should have. If he hasn't left, I would break down. Good, the demon is too scary, I don't want to meet with him again. Confirming Tang had left, Black 3 and the others cried with joy and felt relaxed. Everyone smiled and sat on the ground, completely ignoring the dirt on the ground. Ban Xiu, just now you were saying something, you actually wanted to betray me? Black 3 said to Ban Xiu, who was really nervous. Ban Xiu lowered his head, his emotions were volatile. After a long while, his eyes flashed a firm look and said, Black, you have controlled this area over 20 years. However, it is about time to retire. You. Black 3 did not expect that Ban Xiu dare to challenge him without Tang Xiu. He frowned and then wanted to scold Ban Shou, but just as he was about to speak, he found the atmosphere was a bit abnormal. Besides the green hair, the other 5 bullies stood around Ban Shou. They all looked at Black with aggressive emotion. "Black brother, thank you for sheltering us in our most helpless time and gave us meals. We did so much for you, it was enough to repay your kindness. But we do not want to continue to follow you, because you are too cruel, too selfish, and there is no bottom line at all." Ban Shou said word by word. "Even we are just make a living in the underworld, we still need to follow the rules. But you never follow the rules. Those are not what we want." Ban Shou put all the money, jewelry and bank card into his own pocket, said solemnly, "From now on, I don't want to see you again in Old River Street area, behave yourself." After saying the words, Ban Shou left the restaurant. "Black, you cannot resent us, just blame yourself for your own unreasonable and selfish. Black, you'd better not to wish to take back the leadership. In these 2 years, when you had fun all the time and regarded us as coolies, Ban Shou got the recognition of everyone long before. If Tang Shou's attack on Black 3 was only physical, then the strike by the bullies was at a psychological level. As the bullies left one by one, only the green hair stayed as he did not know what to do. Black 3 seemed soulless, sitting in the kitchen motionless. Chapter 19, Debt Collection. 10 minutes later, Tang Xiu and his mother appeared in a low shanty house. Because they were short on money, they did not have their own house in Star City, but instead rented the cheapest flat in the shanty area as a temporary residence. Gently putting his mother on a small plank bed, Tang Xiu started to do some chores inside the flat. During the thousands of years in the immortal world, Tang Xiu had gotten used to an easy life where others had served him. Sometimes he even had no problems with not eating or drinking for hundreds of years at a time. He was obviously unaccustomed to this when he had to clean the house. Within moments, Tang had gradually become skillful, and his face gradually produced a smile. The room was small, only 40 square meters. It was divided into 4 rooms. The living room with the dining room adjacent to it, there was a worn-out sofa separating the spaces, then there was the kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Tang Xiu looked at the clean pillow and old quilt on the sofa. This made him sad all of a sudden. As the room was too small and there being only one bedroom, Su Lingyun left the bedroom to Tang. She then slept on the sofa. Even when Tang Xiu was schooling, Su Lingyun insisted on sleeping on the sofa, refusing to step into the bedroom. In Su Lingyun's words, Tang Xiu had grown up, he must be allowed his own space. It was precisely this kind of Su Lingyun's meticulous care and spoiling that made Tang Xiu unable to cut off his attachment and yearning toward his mother for thousands of years in the immortal world. Tang Xiu yearned for mother's love. Half an hour later, the house was clean and tidy. Without a speck of dust, neither top nor bottom, inside and outside. Just like a brand new house. As it was late in the day and knowing his mother still had not eaten, Tang Xiu crept into the kitchen. While Tang Xiu was cleaning the house, a human tragedy drama was unfolding in Lingjia restaurant. An hour ago, after Yuan Chuling handed in the paper, he happily went to the examination room where Tang Xiu had the exam. He was looking for Tang to share his joy, but he did not expect that Tang Xiu had already left the school. Since Yuan Chuling was familiar with the whereabouts of Tang, he did not hesitate to rush to Lingjia restaurant, and the scene in front of his eyes made him shocked and infuriated. The restaurant, which was regarded by Tang Xiu and Su Lingyun as part of their lives, was smashed beyond recognition. Suddenly, Yuan Chuling was crushed by remorse. He blamed himself for his selfishness. He clearly had the capabilities to help Tang Xiu improve his life, however, he had not yet done anything to help. Yuan Chuling was about to call the police, but he faintly heard some chatter coming from the kitchen. Yuan Chuling did not hesitate to rush inside to investigate. In the kitchen, Black 3 and the green-haired bully did not notice Yuan Chuling's arrival. They were still cursing Tang Xiu and his mother with clenched teeth while planning on how to exact revenge on them. Today, Black 3 and the green-haired were beaten badly by Tang Xiu. Following that, the rest of their own men had betrayed them. These events had given them a huge psychological trauma, completely blinded by hatred. There was only the need for revenge in their hearts. While the two of them were discussing how to abuse Su Lingyun, Yuan Chuling walked into the kitchen with an angry face. Staring blankly at Black 3 and the green-haired bully, Yuan Chuling grabbed a chair and started mercilessly beating it against them. Had Black 3 and the green-haired bully not already been injured, Yuan Chuling could never be considered an opponent to either of them due to their experience and skills in combat. Unfortunately, Black 3's hands were fractured by Tang Xiu, and a few ribs of the green-haired bully were also broken. Currently, the two of them were like disabled people, at such a pitiful state even an ordinary person could beat them, much less a stronger person like Yuan Chuling. Yuan Chuling beat them up for more than 10 minutes till he got tired. Black 3 and the green-haired bully had already fainted long before Yuan Chuling stopped. They were totally covered with blood, gaping wounds, and injuries all over their bodies. Did I kill them? Yuan Chuling finally woke up from his frenzy and realized the shocking scene on the ground he had caused. His face immediately turned pale. He then turned around and ran away. Just as Yuan Chuling left the restaurant, Ban Shou and the other bullies came back. When Ban Shou inadvertently saw a line of blood-stained footprints coming from the kitchen to the front door, his complexion changed greatly and he rushed into the kitchen. Following Ban Shou, Ding Zi and the others could faintly guess what happened as they rushed inside. Seeing Black 3 and the green-haired bully lying on the bloody floor motionless, the bullies were shocked and their faces turned pale. "Quick, they are still breathing, call the ambulance." "Hurry!" Ban Shou shouted in a condescending tone. After carefully checking the condition of Black 3 and the green-haired bully, subconsciously he felt relieved. Hearing that Black 3 and the green-haired bully were still alive, the other bullies relaxed and then quickly left. However, they were sorrowful after they saw the miserable condition. They knew that if they had not chosen to follow Ban Shou and Ding Zi before and continued to follow Black 3 and the green-haired bully, they would have also ended up in the same state. Ban Shou, who beat them up like this? They nearly killed them. Ding Zi said with fear, staring at Black 3 and the green-haired bully on the floor with their deathly pale complexion due to losing an enormous amount of blood. Ding Zi knew that if they hadn't come back to the restaurant in time, Black 3 and the green-haired bully would have definitely passed away. Upon hearing what Ding Zi had to say, Tang Xiu's figure subconsciously appeared in Ban Shou's mind. He shivered suddenly, but did not dare say who he thought the culprit was. Although Ban Shou did not say anything, Ding Zi and the others understood. Outside the restaurant, Yuan Chuling had run a long way, but he turned back. Watching people move in the restaurant, he did not dare to go back inside, but instead he hid outside. When he heard the news that they were not dead, he felt at ease. River Street Old Area, Shanty Area. After busying himself for nearly an hour, Tang Xiu finally tossed out a full table of dishes, showing a sincere smile. In order to make the dishes, Tang Xiu even had to visit to the market twice. The first time was to the food market. Tang Xiu only bought some common vegetables. But when Tang Xiu checked the condition of his mother again, he found that his mother was in a serious overdraft state and had multiple hidden diseases, so he could not help going to the market to buy some astragalus and red ginseng. He then carefully tasted the meals on the table again to confirm that there were no flaws and then went into the bedroom to wake up his mother. "Xiu, weren't we in the restaurant? Why am I at home and in bed?" When Su Lingyun opened her eyes and figured out where she was, she felt lightheaded. "Mom, you are too tired and still dazed from this whole incident, you passed out." Tang Xiu explained with a smile. "Mom, the issue about the restaurant has been solved. I have negotiated with Black 3 and the others. They have promised not to harass us again and will help us to renovate the restaurant." Not waiting for his mother to ask, Tang Xiu told all the things that his mother would be worried about. Su Lingyun's complexion changed to that of disbelief after hearing what Tang Xiu just told her. She hurriedly lifted up Tang Xiu's clothes and checked Tang Xiu's body. After confirming that Tang Xiu was not injured, she began muttering in amazement. Black 3 and other bullies are from the underworld, how could they possibly let go of us that easily? Mom, as the saying goes, everything has its conqueror. They might consider me as a nobody. But when I showed them the name of the cards of police officer Cheng Xueme and Hu Wenxiu, and they were scared, just like a mouse meeting a cat. They feared that I would tell the police officers, so they promised to help in restoring the restaurant. They also gave me a lot of money and jewelry. In order to completely reassure the mother, Tang Xiu had to rack up his brain to make up a believable story. Tang Xiu was surprised at his ability to make up a story which could even convince himself, let alone his mother, who trusted him a lot. Xiu, you did a good job. I will visit Police Officer Chang and Hu when it is convenient. We have to get close to the police so that the bullies will fear us. You are far better than me at doing this. Su Lingyun softly said as she affectionately touched Tang's head. Mom, we should talk about this later. Let's first eat or the food will get cold. When Tang Xiu saw that his mother wanted to continue with the talk, he had to push her out of the bedroom. Su Lingyun was confused and didn't really pay attention to what Tang Xiu just said. She subconsciously went into the kitchen to cook a meal. She could not help but exclaim when she saw the table full of food, "Oh, why there are so many dishes? Did you order the takeout food?" Mom, I spent an hour on cooking these dishes, they are all your favorite food. Does it suit your tastes? Tang Xiu said nervously as he pressed his mother to the seat. He then gave her a bowl full of food. Tang had cooked 4 dishes and a pot of medicine. The 4 dishes were taro chicken, steamed fish, fried rapeseed, daylily soup and a porridge of medicinal to supplement her weak body and to help her pneuma. Smelling the delicious flavors, Su Lingyun moved her fingers. She could not wait to hold the bowl and begin eating. Mom, eat slowly, do not choke. If the food is not enough, I'll cook more for you. Seeing the way his mother was swallowing down the food, Tang Xiu's heart was filled with a great sense of success. This sense of success made him feel more excited than a breakthrough during practice. Xiu, don't just watch me eating, come join me and have some. Su Lingyun said after eating for a while. She realized her son was watching her eat in such a manner and felt embarrassed. All right, let's eat together. This was the first time that Tang Xiu see his mother forgetting herself. He smiled and then immediately started to eat. While they were happily enjoying the warm dinner, a loud bang suddenly came from outside. The house violently shook a bit and then 3 strong men clad in western suits and leather shoes stormed into the house. Seeing Su Lingyun and Tang Xiu were enjoying a meal, the man with a buzz-cut hair grinned fiendishly and then heavily kicked the low wooden table downwards. With a loud bang, the old-looking wooden table was broken into pieces. The meals on the table were all dispersed all over the floor. You have money to pay for your food, but have no money to repay us. Do you fucking think we are stupid? After kicking the table, the buzz-cut-haired man shouted angrily. He then raised his hand to slap Su Lingyun. Chapter 20, Severing All Ties. Su Lingyun was completely immersed in the cozy atmosphere Tang Xiu had created, so she didn't expect someone to pay them a visit at this time and in such an unusual way. After clearly seeing the 3 men's faces, Su Lingyun's heart skipped a beat, and her immersion was shattered. Because she was in a trance, Su Lingyun didn't even notice as the buzzcut man kicked over the table. Su Lingyun didn't react until the guy was grinning and was about to slap her face. When she finally caught up, she screamed and wanted to escape. However, Su Lingyun was still seated. If she wanted to escape from the slap of the buzzcut man, she would have to stand up before she could start running. And since the man would not wait to let her escape, Su Lingyun could not dodge that slap. Watching as the palm closed in on her face, Su Lingyun desperately closed her eyes. At the next moment, Su Lingyun heard the sound of someone groaning. Su Lingyun thought she recognized the voice as it came from the buzzcut man. Su Lingyun was stunned when she opened her eyes. She found that the vicious-looking man with spiky hair, who was so ferocious just now, was already squatting on the ground. A chicken bone was stuck in his forehead, blood was flowing out of the wound along the bone before dripping to the ground. You dare attack him? Are you an idiot? Do you want to die? The other two men in suits looked at their companion on the ground and then looked at Tang Xiu, who was sitting on the chair, motionless. After a long time, they finally realized that their companion was hurt by Tang Xiu with a chicken bone. Seething with rage, the two shouted and rushed towards the youth. No, please don't hurt my son. He didn't mean to hurt your companion, we are willing to compensate for it. Su Lingyun hysterically shouted whilst rushing towards Tang Xiu. She also understood what had happened and tried to bear the pain. Seeing his mother's frightened expression, Tang Xiu's cold expression lightened. He stretched out his arms and embraced his mother. At the same time, he lifted his legs and readied for an attack. Two pieces of shattered porcelain from a bowl flew up from the ground and were cast towards the two men's forehead. The two pitiful men had only just raised their thighs, and had not even moved a step, but they had received the same result as their companion. Then fell to the floor, howling in pain. What's going on? Su Lingyun had thought that they must have been brutally humiliated. Realizing that everything had happened so abruptly, she was completely shocked. Mom, it's okay, don't worry, just let me handle this. Tang Xiu pinched his mother's palm and comforted her softly. This time, Tang Xiu did not make his mother black out. Tang Xiu was not willing to let his mother live in fear, so he wanted to show off his strength and capabilities, letting her know that he had the ability to protect his family. To appease his mother's emotions, Tang Xiu went to the three suited men and coldly asking, if I am right, my mother has already repaid you including interest, why do you have to harass us? Tang Xiu was familiar with the three men in front of him. His mother was short of money when she opened the restaurant, and even after borrowing money from relatives, she was still short of 50,000 yuan. Therefore, she had to get money from a small loan company. They thought that if it was only a loan of 50,000 yuan, they could repay the debt if they worked hard. However, they did not think this small loan company was a loan shark. They changed the loan contract. The original interest was 3.3%, but as time progressed, the final loan had stunningly increased to 7.33%. The plan was to repay by dividing the 50,000 yuan loan into 6 months, but due to the change of interest, the actual price repaid every month was 12,000 yuan. I don't think the person writing the story does maths or knows how loans work. If they had to pay with 7.33% interest, they would be paying back 51k, not 72k. This makes me angry. Tang Xiu and his mother could only painfully and helplessly endure the debt. They tried to put up some fierce resistance, but it ended in failure. They did not think that the loan shark with high interest was only the beginning of their nightmare. In the times to come, they almost always lived in a waking nightmare. In the first month, the restaurant was operating at a loss. Tang Xiu and his mother were unable to repay the loan. As a result, the small loan company ignored their pleas and ransacked their home. The loan shark company also threatened them to repay the principal money and interest, otherwise, they would start to attack the restaurant. There was no way to plead their case, their only option was to borrow money from relatives and friends. In 3 days, they finally gathered enough money to pay off the debt. The loan sharks seemed to think that they were easy to bully. So within the next few months, the loan sharks pushed them for more money every month, and harassed Tang Xiu and his mother for pleasure. In order to avoid the bullying, Su Lingyun would prepare the payments. Even in cases where the restaurant's profit wasn't enough. Su Lingyun's restaurant is situated on Old River Street Old Street. Their neighbors also had similar businesses. This made for tough competition and prevented Su Lingyun from earning a lot each month. After half a year, Su Lingyun was finally able to repay the entire debt to the loan sharks. However, after repaying all the money, Tang Xiu and his mother had no savings left. There was no money left to pay for Tang's tuition. Su Lingyun was also losing weight due to this. That is why when Su Lingyun saw the three suited men, she looked pale, which was also a reason why Tang Xiu was this merciless. Tang Xiu, you son of a bitch, you dare attack us? We are members of the Tianlang Society. Do you think that we can't kill you and your mother whenever we want? The buzzcut man cursed and clenched his jaws as he pulled the chicken bone out of his head. We have been in contact for half a year, you should know there are some problems with my brain. Are you saying that killing you three would be illegal? Tang Xiu grinned as he grabbed a chair and started to strike the buzzcut man with it. There was a crisp _crack as the shoulder bone of the buzzcut man broke. He was in far too much pain to talk. I will ask you again, we have already repaid the debt, why are you still harassing us? Tang Xiu, this time, directed the question to the two other people. Tang Xiu, you did repay your debt, but someone signed a debt transfer contract with us last month, so you have to create a new loan relation with our business. Under the sharp eyes of Tang Xiu, another man was about to call Tang Xiu a son of a bitch but swiftly stopped. It is your younger uncle. We borrowed 50,000 yuan from your uncle. Maybe what happened last month made him angry out of shame, so maybe he went to Eternal Growth Trading Company and made a transfer to them. Su Lingyun added when she noticed that the suited man could not fully explain the situation. After hearing what Su Lingyun had to say, Tang Xiu became silent. Reminded by the words said by Ban Shou and Ding Zi in the restaurant, his anger was ignited. Tang Xiu didn't understand why his younger uncle would act so heartlessly because they were family. Mom, why did you only tell me this after all that has happened? Tang Xiu complained after a moment of silence. Su Lingyun only touched Tang Xiu's forehead indulgently but did not speak. However, Tang Xiu got the answer from his mother's eyes. His mother did not tell him about the harassment in the restaurant and at home. The reason was that she didn't want it to affect his performance at school. Another reason was that it would only make Tang Xiu worry more. For a moment, Tang Xiu slightly hated himself for not showing his strength earlier. That way, perhaps his mother would have discussed the difficulties she faced, rather than bearing it in silence. This card has 50,000 yuan. Take it and get out. If you dare to continue harassing my mother, I will make sure your business will have no future in Star City. Tang Xiu shouted. While he was thinking about how to solve the problem with Eternal Growth Trading Company, a muffled voice came from outside the house. Moments later, Yuan Chuling's obese body squeezed into the house. Fatty, why are you here? Tang Xiu asked in surprise. Even though he had known Yuan Chuling for a long time, Tang Xiu did not think about letting Yuan Chuling visit his home because of his low self-esteem. So he didn't expect that Yuan Chuling would come here of his own volition. Brother, you didn't even tell me about the problems you have with your own family. It seems you don't see me as your brother. Yuan Chuling grinned, punching Tang Xiu lightly on the chest. Mom, let me introduce him to you, this is my classmate, Yuan Chuling. He is my only buddy in school. When I shifted from class 5 to class 10, he also followed me and transferred to class 10. Tang Xiu explained with a smile as he noticed his mother's eyes were full of questions. Oh, it is Tang Xiu's classmate. Welcome to our family. After listening to the introduction, Su Lingyan's face showed a warm smile, but when she saw the bodies of the three suited men lying on the floor, her complexion turned gloomy as the smile on her face faded slightly. You're still not leaving yet? Are you waiting for me to send you back? Yuan Chuling snapped at the three suited men when he noticed the reaction in Su Lingyun's eyes. Young Master Yuan, I am sorry, I didn't know Master Tang was your friend. If we knew Master Tang was your friend, we would not have harassed him. Young Master Yuan, this is your card, please take it back. We had accidentally ruined Boss Su and young Master Tang's dinner. This way, the 50,000 yuan debt will be paid off. We also wish young Master Yuan to put in some good words for us to Boss Yuan, so that we may still work in the company. The two remaining suited men fearfully said. They then fled the scene as fast as possible, carrying the unconscious buzz-cut man with them. Su Lingyun and Tang Xiu originally thought that Yuan Chuling's hot temper would provoke contradictions and stir up more troubles, and had already planned to stop his impulses. They would have never thought that after he spoke, the things that happened next would make them stunned. Tang Xiu and his mother could only stand there for a long time.